do something else. I don't care.
All right.
Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome back to the Shadow and Sun Show, and welcome back for another Appendix N book club meeting. This time we are reviewing Roger
Bagel.
Zelazny's Roger Zelazny's Sign of the Unicorn. Man, it's been a while since I read this one, so I knew some things, but even knowing how it was going to end, it still really hit me hard because I was listening to Roger actually narrate his own book. Is that what you guys did?
I read it.
Oh, you read it? Okay.
Or
Then
like
I
I've got the whole that paperback with like all 10 of them. Got it for 16 bones.
nice, nice. I just came across another book that's Grumpy Old Slan put in the book club review, and I managed to find a volume one of the six. The whole series is going for like $1,000, and I'm like, you got to be kidding me. But I guess they, you know, whatever. But I found a volume one for like $20, so I scooped it up. Uh, but we'll talk about that later. Um, okay, first, Justin, since Tanner, you didn't listen to it, was there any moment when you were listening to it you said, "My God, he sounds like Adam West"? Nope. Go back, and I swear to God, there are times where he sounds just like Adam West, or vice versa. I don't know. It was really funny and weird at the same time. So,
I mean,
round the
there's
table.
worse narrators than Batman.
Right, right. Because Adam West had a good speaking voice. I don't know that he did anything else. I can't think of a single thing that I know that Adam West did. But off topic.
He was the mayor on
Family Guy?
Family Guy.
Okay,
He was also in a legitimately great noir film they thought was lost for years, and then they found a copy. I think it was called The Girl Who Knew Too Much.
Oh, okay. I'll have to check
He was
that out.
also on Geronimo. He was in a Three Stooges movie, which is pretty neat. Robinson Crusoe on Mars. That one's a classic.
Oh, really? I
He
saw
had
that.
he had a cameo appearance in Fairly Odd Parents and The Simpsons. Like, the guy had a bigger career than people tend to think he did.
Okay. I was thinking, like what was it before Batman that got him the role? But I'll go check out Robinson Crusoe because I did see that as a kid, but I didn't put two and two together or care. Um, so,
Adam
uh,
West.
so initial first thoughts of the book, guys. Justin, what'd you think?
I think I still hate first person narration.
Okay.
Yeah.
Who
It
doesn't?
really started to annoy me. Well, the book's in first person.
Well, I knew that. I read it. I mean, the joke was, who doesn't dislike first-person narration?
That'd be this guy.
Yeah, that guy.
There you
Yeah.
go.
Yeah, I really
He's
like it
weird.
because I find that it shows that the author is really getting into the head of the character more than viewing the character from the sidelines or from on high or whatever. And for me, as a DM, that's really fun to method act. So I kind of dig it.
Uh,
Besides
First
that,
person can be really great as long as it's not just the audience first-person narration declaring themselves the coolest. And thankfully, I don't think that was the case here.
uh,
I mean, he's an Ambridian, so it's part of his character. You understand?
yeah, but
Let me put it this way: there's a difference
excuses
between,
are
say,
excuses.
well, excuse is nothing. There's a difference between, say, an immortal demigod being your first-person narrator and, say, Bella Swan being your first-person narrator. If you dig me.
I don't know who Bella Swan
Twilight
is.
was not in first person narration for the majority of the book.
Oh, okay.
Really?
No.
Could have fooled me.
I know. I read them.
You poor man.
No, I enjoyed them. They were good.
Free country. Even if the politicians don't want that.
Nice.
Yeah.
So,
Stick to the man, dog. But for realsy, this is definitely the most
That's
noirish
an
of the...
anti-Semitic remark.
No, it's not. Hey, you're the guy eating the bagel. When did I mention the Jews?
Hey.
Guys, now.
Technically, bagels are a German thing. And you said stick it to the man.
Yeah, like the man's usually Catholic.
Not in North America or Europe. Not since the 40s.
Anyway, this is the most noirish one of the bunch so far.
Sure.
Yes.
Like, it's straight up a murder mystery.
With no
Yeah.
control.
With
Didn't they mention who the killer was?
Nope.
Ah, okay, misread that.
No.
Yes, I know who that is, Raven.
Oh, sorry,
Okay.
I didn't do the thing with the chat. Sorry, guys.
yeah.
Howdy, Raven.
Howdy, Raven.
Of course not. I'm not gay. I don't read sparkle stories.
I'm not gay either.
Bro, one of us produces gay porn, and the other one is me.
Done so. I don't know what you're talking about.
No, a weird German Mexican guy was like, "Hey, put me on stream," and tilted his camera downward. That was not Shadow's fault.
I didn't produce that. I just
Stop running
facilitated
cover
that
for
being
Shadow.
a thing. Tanner, we won't
There's a
find out
contract and many songs produced by AI.
we won't find out who the killer is or whatever. Even though they showed the weird creatures with the extra fangs and the extra joints in their fingers and stuff.
Mm-hmm.
We won't find out who perpetrated the murder. We kind of know who killed Kane, but we don't.
I know it was Corwin.
Nope. And that's all I'm going to say about that.
It was Corey.
Biggest Lucas. Hail Feather! It was a joke because he just threw out a random name, so I threw out a random name. And then emphasized with Hail Feather!
No, I actually had to remember the name.
And yes, Corey is one of the names he went by on Earth. But no one said anything about porn. So we're all talking in circles here.
What's up? Well, hey, Brian, long time no see, man. Where the hell you been?
Porn.
I'm still waiting for you to come back to the D&D game, man. What? Just saying. And I've used your character as an NPC like a half a dozen times already. So
I say kill him off.
Nah.
It's been over a year.
He'll be back.
He'll be back. So
no.
Was there anything in this story that really grabbed you guys?
Very, very end with what's her name being in, I'm guessing, Alternative Amber or Chaos.
Or the True Amber.
The True Amber, maybe. I don't know. And the
Are you talking about Fiona or the unicorn or
both?
Was it Fiona? Was that her name from the previous book?
Yeah.
That's what I thought was the killer, because, yeah.
Yeah. But that's option 2. I just assumed what's his name did it when he was on amnesia or whatever.
Pardon my umming and awing here. I actually don't have as many notes for this one as I do for the last couple of books, believe it or not.
I have yet to take a note.
Yeah, same here. I was tempted to ask ChatGPT to write notes for me, but
now that's gay porn.
But I was too lazy to do that.
Usually I like to sit down after the book, and I should really be doing it during the book, and take notes of plot details, stuff to discuss later, little thoughts I had. For this one, however, because it is focused on that murder mystery, and there's still, gameable content, obviously, but it's less, this is where this comes from, this is what we should have been doing for 30-odd years, okay, this is interesting, why did no one do anything with this? It is, but then on the other hand, it's also the first time we've had a lot of these family members in one space interacting. Because usually it's just Corwin and Random and their sibling who's a rival, or the sister they're staying with and have
Mhm.
really odd Gaga eyes at, or dueling with Eric, or this or that. And now we get to see what these guys are like when they're sitting down at the same table.
It was glorious.
Hmm.
There's the characters are so they're all such bastards, but you gotta
Hmm.
you gotta have a favorite amongst them besides.
I don't
Cole.
know. Not one of them kicked a puppy once, so I don't know if you can call them any.
Well, I don't think there were any puppies, which is really a shame. There should have been a puppy, at least one, or a dog. Um,
To be
well,
kicked.
there were dogs in the Nine Princes, so but those weren't very nice dogs.
Werewolves.
Yeah, it doesn't matter.
No, Flora's pet guard dogs.
Yeah, at the beginning.
True, but I also remember a bunch of werewolves kicked down the joint, and that's when Corwin and Random had their first big fight scene.
I don't know if they were werewolves. They were something different. That's what I was referring to earlier. Those same creatures that bust down the door were one of them appeared to be responsible for Kane's death.
I see. Um, what I will give this one a lot of sugar for is uh, the actual place where poor Brand was being held this entire time, and it wasn't the intent, but Brandon kind of like kept him on hold for a good long while. Random, Random put him on hold for a good long while. Um, for some reason, I was imagining something like one of the darker Disney movies with the Dark Crystal, where it's this wasteland where like rocks are like tumbling in certain ley lines. There's
Mhm.
animal guards, and Random rode one of these while firing at them to escape. That was pretty great.
Yeah, I really actually enjoyed the scene where Random was on the flying rocks. That was pretty
What
fun.
the fuck is Brian talking about?
I
I have
have
the
no,
foggiest idea, and I try not to
I, I,
figure it
I
out.
don't know.
You still didn't bring up that overlay, by the way. Um,
I don't know.
all
The other thing I really enjoyed. Oh, who's Tanner?
Kinda.
Yeah, he's a. I met Tanner through DM Beelzebubba, and we got along
Maybe
so well that I invited him to join us on this. Ryan, you're always welcome, but I know you're way too busy
first
to
episode I was on was Go Figure, the second Amber novel, and I think that was 2 months back. If you want to hear the sultry, annoying sound of my voice, um, yeah, Guns of Avalon, Roaring Trumpet, Warrior at the World's End, Three Hearts and Three Lions, and then next 2 weeks for High Crusade. That's where you're gonna hear me.
okay. Um, yeah. So
I
I read.
also go ahead.
Well, I listened to the book over on Tuesday there, so I barely remember any of it. Um,
Another
Uh,
scene I really enjoyed was Corwin gets a pretty nasty cut, stumbles back through the shadow to the earth he was on, and he actually meets up with some old friends of his, and
that was
has
fun.
to bullshit that he's a government agent, and he looks so good for his age because of solid living, and not that he's an immortal demigod. As
yeah,
the
yeah.
guys around him are like getting a bit paunchier and
But his
agreeing.
friend Roth
Hmm.
knows something's up. I
Yeah.
really actually enjoyed that whole chapter with him dealing with him. But I want to go back to Random's narration. If Justin doesn't remember, that's where I was first inspired with the list of threes,
Hmm.
with Random's list. It was actually subconscious because I had forgot uh, where I got that from, but his whole, the deeper look into Random, what a wily little runty bastard he is. Literally the youngest of the brothers, and therefore, the most spoiled and immature, I think. But at the same time, he's the only decent one among them. You know what I mean? He's got no ulterior motives, no no backstabbiness in him. Sure, he's a bastard, but he's just other than maybe
No, sleeping.
what's his name,
That's funny.
Benedict. He and
No.
Benedict are the only ones that seem to have any actual moral fibers within them.
Who was he with at the fake tomb?
Oh, Cherninaga.
What's that?
That was Dara, the girl that Corwin slept with, and she then she pretended to be Benedict's great granddaughter or whatever.
No. Earlier when, because that's near the end of the book, right?
Yeah,
Oh,
When he first
Ganlon.
find
Is it Ganlon?
yeah,
was it
get on.
Anlon, and he was getting drunk
Yeah,
and
Ganlon
throwing
continues
the
to be a
bottles.
badass in this.
yes. For a regular mortal, he's pretty awesome.
Yeah.
Yeah, and he
Also,
decides to disband the army or whatever.
I need to give a bit more credit when it comes to Wicked Bastards. Redhead there, saving Brand's life. That definitely earned me a lot of respect. He just busts in with an axe. So good.
Yeah, yeah. What'd you guys think of Brand?
I need to read more of him. Um, uh, I'm.
We'll see,
I
Brian.
need to word this carefully. It. I'm both amused and saddened to learn that a lot of his personality traits are due to manic depression because one of my closest friends actually has manic depression. Although
Well,
they're
I think um, it's more than that, and having a father like Oberon and a mom like whoever his mom was, I forget that whole lineage thing was kind of complicated, but it needed to be thrown out there somewhere. And trust me,
Eh,
there's a lot of actual surprises to come. I'm not going to spoil any of them, but there are a lot of interesting plot twists and turns in the next two books. A lot of
oh yeah.
crazy shit.
I mean,
Uh,
number 4 is called The Hand of Oberon. Like,
yeah.
yeah,
There's
that one's
two more, right?
two
it,
Three
more.
more.
Yes.
there's a couple more novels afterwards, but since we're aiming
Yeah,
for
yeah,
Appendix N first,
yeah,
if we get
Yeah.
to those later 5, it probably won't be for a while.
yeah.
Yeah.
Years.
Yeah.
Yeah.
There's two more. Then there's five more, and the second
Yeah.
series even I didn't really enjoy anywhere near as much.
I remember someone wrote that book 8 was everything wrong with then modern fantasy, and I'm reading this, I'm like, holy shit, guys. It didn't have to be
Yeah.
that harsh.
The
Well, yeah,
somebody
it's just ponytailed up. I got to do some other stuff later, and uh, that particular activity does not uh, work well with my hair all crazy. So,
gotta
was there
paint the
anybody?
fence.
Pardon?
Paint the fence.
No.
Hi, Mel.
Yeah. I
So,
said hi as well. So was there a character you've come to despise over the course of these three books?
Corwin.
Fair, that's fair.
not
Not for anything he's
particularly.
done, but he's just like too grating
Like,
of a character to be in the
like
head of
Julian's
all the
supposed
time.
to be hateable, but honestly, I found him charming in his obnoxiousness. Like, maybe I will try for the throne if he years. I don't know. We'll see. Okay.
I'm bored.
Uh,
I'll see if I get bored. Need some
Yeah.
excitement.
Like, even Corwin Fowd admits, even if they don't like the guy, that doesn't mean he's necessarily a bad ruler.
mhm, mhm.
He does
Uh,
plan on implementing Taco Tuesdays. And
That's another, reason worth considering. But remember, a politician can woo ya and wine ya and dine ya and 69 ya, and then renege on all their promises and show all the stuff they didn't tell you about.
how about you, Justin? Anybody besides Corwin?
no,
No.
everyone else is just like so dreary in the background and through the tinge of his observations. So I can't tell if they're like actually rainbows and fucking kittens. Well, not kittens. Kittens are proto cats and they're evil. So puppies,
No,
rainbows
no.
and
I think
puppies.
he's a very good judge of character. We have to, take him for his
For all I
word.
know, he's still in his psycho bed at the ward from book one
Yeah.
because
Oh, another scene I enjoyed, although I was kind of curious where he was going with it. When he got a vision of seeing his girl from book two again, and she said, "Yeah, you chased off Melkor, the abuser, and we got
Oh,
Blaze to
that
help
was
you
so
out."
sad. That was so sad. I it's like, oh
Despite
man,
all his lawful evilisms and Melkavianisms, he really just does want to settle down.
yeah,
yeah, that was.
is that she fades into gray or something? I can't
Yeah, I
remember.
think that was Dara trying to fuck with him.
Yeah,
No, I think that wasn't that sort of an effect of the moonlight reflection of Amber or Tirnanog or Tirnanoth, whatever, however the hell you pronounce that weird place that
Oh,
fades away.
I'm pretty sure.
oh,
Well, it's Celtic, so there's tons of ways to pronounce it, and they're all wrong. I always pronounced it Churnanog, with the T being a C, but I'm certain there's countless people who've studied the Gaelic language that can tell me
Because
I'm
I could have
completely
sworn
wrong.
when he did mention it, there was the T sound, but
Yeah,
um,
it is spelled with a T.
yeah, that place it was kind of interesting, especially because you find out that he had basically his magic sword he forged up there, or something that it's part of that place or something, and so was the mechanical arm that Benedict had in that place.
the
The
parallel future, maybe something.
Oh,
Yeah,
I,
and then he
I also
Talk
appreciate the line where they're holding the guy's other arm, and they're like, "Hey, you think Bendig would appreciate sticking this on him?"
yeah, yeah. It's like a sort of a time looping, self fulfilling prophecy kind of thing. He cut the arm off the future version of Benedict to give it to the current Benedict so that he could later strangle Corwin with it.
Yeah, but maybe
Yes.
he might remember where he got it from now and be nicer
Uh,
to Corwin.
have you met Roger? Clearly, you have not met Roger Zelazny.
No, but you can have hope.
That's just
You want to build up the hope. That way, it's all more devastating when you have your first or second
so
crisis in
speaking
the
of the
story.
the foreshadowing, I really like the way he did the Jewel of Judgment. First being told that time will slow down for or speed up for you and slow down for everybody around you, and then when he you know goes to his room and drops the key and is able to catch it midair because time is slowing down. That effect was all that saved him from a ruptured kidney or two from uh, wasn't it Fiona who stabbed him in the dark, or was
Yes,
it
Maybe I
Gerard?
don't know.
it was Fiona. Yes.
That's what I
Also,
thought.
going real quick back to the the hospital room. I kind of like how he's looking through the trumps. Wow, this is some great art. Ooh, redheads.
Yeah, yeah,
Guy's got a taste.
yeah. Roth was kind of cool,
Yeah.
uh, and he uh, shows up again later, I believe, and I thought that was really the not really the bare minimums, but kind of the bare minimum of, he had to have made a friend in that particular Earth. You know what I mean? And then to
Mhm.
have that particular friend show up at just the right moment, I thought was kind of cool. A little, plot armor-ish, but the book was only, Christ, like 200 pages, so he's jamming a lot of stuff into the one book.
Yeah.
Let's see what else can be added here. There's
So
definitely more eyebrow raising about all the critters that are entering into Amber as of late. Because like it's not supposed to have like manticores.
Right.
so I did that thing,
Mhm.
the thing where I asked ChatGPT what the events of the story were
Mhm.
because I barely remember them from 3 days ago.
What'd I tell you?
It's striking some memory here. Everything's
Hmm.
starting to click. But what is Corwin's master plan to reshape reality, or was that Brand? I gotta go back down to that section where I said that.
It's whoever gets the throne. By sitting in the throne, by being the king of Amber, you will then start casting new reflections throughout all the shadows, and as king and attuned to the jewel of judgment, you'd have a little bit more control over those shadow alternate universes that are now going to be even more favorable to you as the quote unquote king of reality. Uh,
Hmm.
He who
to me,
controls the throne controls the universe.
and to me that actually sounds like that would suck. The other everybody else has it made where sure they can travel and go through shadows and go to the alternate dimensions and all that stuff, but be in absolute control of it. You'd end up with that Picard realization in the Nexus. This is all fake now. You know, how do I make it challenging and fun that would drive you mad?
It's like Yahweh in Supernatural. You
Okay.
watch Supernatural?
You mean Chuck,
I
right?
He went by Chuck, but you know he was Yahweh.
Well, God, I don't know that I would use that name. Um,
yeah,
You
even if
would.
that's the proper
or
name
that I
for
should
him,
say
that
that he
name's
ever,
may have been ruined by atheists. Yeah.
or that he ever used
Not
that name in the show.
atheist.
But being God,
Yeah,
it's very similar to that Twilight Zone where the burglar gets shot and
well,
dies and
you
thinks he.
told me you never got that personality quirk from Supernatural. That's why I'm bringing that reference back up.
I'm sorry, I missed part of that. What?
You said you never got the way he was like that in Supernatural. That's why I'm bringing it up.
Uh, I just I figured literally everything that came out of his mouth was bullshit and a lie. He just
You
seems.
should
Just as
read
the
the Old
writers wanted
Testament.
to.
I have. Um,
Joe was pretty honest, dude. I mean,
he just seemed like he was always up to something, So I
You
couldn't
should
trust.
read the Old Testament.
I have.
for those watchers at home, Justin is trying to make a point, and Shadow is dipping his toes into the propaganda.
No, he's just not buying it because I see things differently than he does. Uh, but yeah, it seems like like I was saying with that Twilight Zone where the criminal gets shot and killed, and he ends up and everything is going right for him. He
Oh,
can't
that
lose it.
one.
You can't lose at gambling. And he thinks that why is heaven like this? And then Sebastian Cabot says, "Whatever gave you the idea you were in heaven?" You know.
For
Yeah.
further context, this is a criminal who never did a nice thing in his life, and he's like, I don't get it. How an asshole like me get make it in here? And
Right.
it's like, look, this heaven thing ain't working. Can you bring me to the other place? Other place, sir? Hell, you're already there.
Yeah, it would be like that. Everything would be fake, and where would be the
Boring.
challenge and boring? But there's actually other things going on that we'll find out later
Yeah.
that will explain why that's not entirely the case. But at the same time, there still would be some of that with all that power. You would get bored, and thankfully Roger was wise enough to see past that later on in the other books, but I'm not going to spoil anything. Um, I'm going to go with some of the usual questions. That being, is there anything from this particular book, not the whole series, that you would take or borrow any scenes or narrative styles or even ideas, Justin?
Um, the what a twist at the end was kind of interesting. Uh, what a twist!
You're not in Kansas anymore, and you never were.
Yeah.
I was thinking more like, you're
Even
not
the
out of the
before
cave
that
yet.
this is. No, I mean like before the this is the real pattern. The what's her name on the throne with the brother with the robot arm that might be the
Okay.
butcher or not. I think that's not the future. I think it's just another pattern. But I haven't read the next two books, so
Mm-hmm.
you,
And
you
believe
tell
it or
me.
not, when they got to when Ganelon and Corwin were talking and realizing that they just the unicorn had actually led them to the real Amber, the original Amber, that
Hmm.
their Amber is actually the first reflection of, I guess. Uh,
Hmm.
not
The
trying.
one that Oberon, the father,
Yeah,
created to be the king over
yeah.
um, when he rebelled against chaos or whatever.
Hmm.
And it seems like he was more chaotic than. So maybe he's actually chaos and chaos is order. I don't know. You tell
Well,
me.
yeah, you'll find out where the family actually comes from in later books, and that's
Yeah.
actually kind of a big deal. And I don't want to
They
spoil
come
it.
from Mars.
Even knowing, because I've read this book easily 10 times, even knowing how it's going to end, as I get older and maybe wiser, I was like, I know it's coming, I know it's coming, and then I'm in it. It still hit me as like, man, this, for you first timers, this is like, wow, this is, quite the what do you call it?
This is the calm before the storm. This is the big
No,
jump.
no,
This
no.
is,
This quite the existential uh, revelation that
I
Hmm.
everything
just I just assumed this was him doing a take on Plato's cave, except what you
could
thought
be.
was the surface is
I
not the
could see that.
surface. Yeah.
I
He,
could see
he,
that.
he he was he was incredibly well read and versed and educated in all things pertaining to Shakespeare and all the
Well,
myths.
that's not Shakespeare.
No, no, but
That's Plato. That's what
that
Plato
was,
said.
I believe,
I know what he
where
meant.
he got his master's degree in Jacobean literature, but he studied everything else around it, near it, adjacent to it, etc., to where he really
Off
shows
by a couple thousand years, but still.
Well,
right.
remember, Shakespeare was a complete Greekophile, right? I mean, there's
Yeah,
so many little
yes, yeah. I'm
references
just.
to that
I,
folklore in his stuff.
And
I'm messing with Shadow. That's what I
if
do.
you were to
Remember,
read,
can or can't tell when you're messing with someone.
oh yeah, yeah,
Like,
Just
I assume that
always
the
assume.
bagel, yeah,
I
like,
just assume all words that come out of my mouth when Shadow is in my presence is messing with
yes,
him.
but I
yes.
want to hear a genuine answer, right? Like, I figured that the bagel earlier was a wink nod to when you wore the army hat last episode. Like, hey, audience, look what I'm doing. Bagel, bagel.
Bagel.
No,
No, no.
that's,
I
he just
just like cream
genuinely likes
cheese.
bagels.
Oh,
Yeah.
cool. Nice.
They're
Bagels
also
are good.
not. They're not a Jewish food.
What do you put on your bagel?
Not schmear.
What's schmear?
You don't want to know.
Okay. Me, I usually put on like jam or cream cheese, sometimes both. Peanut butter and
Cream
Strawberry
jelly,
cream
that's really
cheese.
nice. Yeah.
cream
Strawberry
cheese.
cream cheese, never toasted. I don't know
No,
why people would
toasted.
toast it.
Lightly toasted. You gotta have that little
I
bit of
will.
crisp on the
Yeah,
inside. It also softens the outer shell and crisps the inner layer.
they're
That's
good
where you get your
toasted
crunch from,
with
Shadow. The
a
crunch.
cheese and bacon and an egg, but you have to be
Maybe,
careful,
maybe,
otherwise
maybe.
all that yolk's gonna go down the hole, and it's like you just ruined your shirt.
Bro, you've got to get the little ring. You've got to get the little ring and scramble the egg and
Yes,
cook it in the ring. So it's like the egg
I'll
egg
try that
Okay,
out
yolk.
hey,
next time. Thanks. Yeah.
I know we're diverging for a
Yes.
minute, but I got to ask this question: what the hell ever happened to egg bagels?
What?
I have no idea.
Egg bagels. Okay,
I don't get it with an egg bagel.
bagels are either made with water or egg.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay,
Oh,
and
it's probably an inflation problem then.
I haven't seen an egg bagel in decades.
Ooh.
I don't know.
Now they just have plain or raisin or whatever, but they don't have the egg ones, which were like a more of a yellow bread. Like when you get
Mhm.
those artisan hamburger buns, it was more like that,
Oh, I see
and
now.
more and even denser in a way than regular bagels.
Yeah,
But
yeah.
I haven't seen them in forever.
It's probably they go bad faster. It's probably a preservative thing.
I'd argue it's probably like inflation. They don't want to shell out for an egg in there, but yeah,
Yeah, but
definitely
like I
make
said,
them homemade then.
it's been it's been like 20 plus years since I've seen one. So
Yeah.
I don't know that it was inflation as much as it was just like what Justin said. It makes more sense. Like we were talking the other day about bread. I get a loaf of white bread. It stays good for freaking weeks. In the old days, it was like a week. After a week, it's starting to turn green. I
I
could
was
buy a
really
loaf
good
of bread
ones.
and it'll stay white
And
and,
that
and
was even
fresh
Dempster's.
for like three
Oh,
weeks, which is crazy. Mobius,
yeah.
what's up? So, Tanner, what would you take from this book in particular, and throw it in one of your games that you were running?
Hmm. Probably how to set up a murder mystery.
Good answer.
Clues to follow, suspects. How to indicate who is or isn't the killer through process of elimination. Um, I would definitely bring in what I would really emphasize, and this is something I've been thinking about long before this book, but it's a good time to bring it up. Is I'm very big on PCs having friends. And what I mean by that is, you should at least cooperate with the people in your party. But I mean, like, who's like the three guys who's always at the bar and like, hey, buddy, how you been? What I'm about to get to, because I know Justin just did the wavy hand there.
Well,
The D-
with always cooperating with the party
well, here's
specifically.
the thing: you don't have to be friends with these guys, but you still shouldn't kick them down to a pit of vipers because they said something off kilter to you. You know?
Now, we've been doing that Mork board game on Saturday, and I told Shadow he gets extra perks if he kills Omanow's character anytime during the game. I'll just let him re-roll, and Omanow has to create another character.
And it isn't
But
it?
he hasn't yet. And he's supposed to be a psychopath, and he hasn't
Just
fucking
biding my
killed
time, just waiting for
the
the right moment to
like
strike or not strike.
they're both playing the same class of character, which is a heretical priest. So they're supposed to be trying to like be in doctrinal fights with each other, like religious psychopaths. And this guy has not once taken the "your God will give you a boost in something if you kill that motherfucker" challenge, because he's a little freaking bitch. I'm just saying that, Shadow. I'm trying to egg you on. I'm trying to get this going.
I'm
I
gonna
want
do
you
what I'm
to
gonna
at
do.
least. I want you to at least try and stab him in the back once.
I am doing what I'm going to do, and you'll just have to wait and see what I'm going to do.
Yeah,
Uh,
I accept that. That's why I'm not penalizing you for it. But I'm going to mock you relentlessly at a game.
it wouldn't matter the subject matter. I'm certain of it.
Yeah.
The flip of the dick, of course, with the characters having, drinking buddies, a sage they consult with regularly, is that you don't want to like straitjacket them, where like they have to put up with like a character that you put there just to annoy them or to like waste their time. So
Mhm.
Mhm.
like if you ever want to hear Tanner go from a happy-go-lucky yay pop literature into just a snick figgity nasty, teeth gnashing, screaming, red faced bully, suggest in any way, shape, or form that L5R is a good game. Because I've had a certain DM, and if he's listening to this, he knows exactly who he is, although he's never on the
Your
internet, so he
mom.
doesn't. Um,
Tanner,
I'm certain I am.
you,
But there's this one jackass who would always have us have these dependencies, who would always like drag us down when we wanted to do our jobs, and suffice to say, very few people play with them anymore. Yes, sir?
Yeah.
first off, I will never ever play L5R,
You're
so no
not missing a
worries.
thing.
I really feel sorry for the people that have gone overboard and gone into that. I went through my ninjas and samurai phase back when I was a teenager, where it belongs. Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles, that whole thing, and then I safely went right to hell, back to the rest of the real world, because yeah,
We should put Ninja Turtles on the list of games we're going to play.
Yes.
maybe.
Oh, fuck that
Palladium
shit
Fantasy
list.
too.
Ninja Turtles. No,
Yes.
no Palladium. We'll find
Yeah,
another
the only
niche
problem
choice.
is I'm not inclined to buy a whole lot of new stuff that's coming
Oh,
out of
it's not.
Palladium.
It's
We
a
we
80s
can
game.
find it.
They
We can
finally,
find.
after a Kickstarter, it got a relaunch. So don't worry, it's definitely old school.
But no, I've actually got some old school versions,
Nice.
where and we'll talk about why I like the old versions better. Just it's just a money grab at this point, and
I just want to play an anthropomorphized turtle trying to hit on a redhead.
uh-huh.
Let him do it, Shadow. Run the
Yeah, yeah,
fucking
yeah. Well,
for him.
it's uh, uh, not letting or not doing, just scheduling and
Of course.
It's
affordability.
sometime in
You
the
know,
year 2027.
Justin, if you don't mind me saying so, after the God Wars is done, he's probably gonna get to work on Gamma World next. You could run a mutant turtle. I mean, there's plenty of. I mean, redheads are gonna survive the apocalypse, so I mean.
I don't know about that.
There's only one redhead I like.
Hmm.
That's
Her
April.
name's April.
That's April.
Well, anyway, let's see here. So definitely the friendship aspect, as long as it doesn't become a straitjacket. Definitely the murder mystery.
Hmm.
I mean, I already know I tend to take a lot of the planar stuff, but also the and how law and chaos and everything in between interact. I would definitely, if I was gonna do a big reveal that the place you think you are is not the place you think you are, it'd probably be something that would be set up early and something that the players could discover on their own, rather than me like, you know, pulling a rig out and being like, "Ta-da!"
Yeah,
Because that
yeah.
can be very what? You don't want
Yeah.
this to become like M. Night Shyamalan.
No. M. Night Shyamalan is the master of what a twist.
He
The
was.
master.
He was good, but I don't know.
Yeah,
He did a phaser. He's getting good again. So credit where it's due, of
yeah.
course.
He was bad. Then he started rushing a bunch of crap and doing other stuff. Now he's just getting back to.
Yeah. You can't rush this stuff. Like, I mean, the reason that the Sixth Sense was so good is that thing had like 28 drafts. He refined that thing.
I don't know, man. 20 minutes into the movie, I already knew how it was going to end.
I call
Honestly,
bullshit on that.
that probably means it's a good twist because you could figure it out beforehand. You don't want to just go at the
Yeah,
end.
that or somebody spoiled it for you.
Nope,
That is
nope,
pretty sleazy.
no. It was definitely wasn't that. I just, uh, I don't know.
Didn't click with you.
Yeah, it's just, sometimes there's like a line or a look or something, and it hit me, and I'm like, oh, I'm not gonna. But
I'm
anyway, so
not to boast here, and this is a slightly different experience. It's a Japanese thriller called Suicide Club, I think, and I actually shocked the guy who was streaming for us when and this is not in a bad way. The movie shows you something twice in a row so that you remember. And I'm like, hey, just out of curiosity, and you can just delete this comment if I'm right. Are they the ones behind this all? And he responded with like a little shock emote, like, okay, they are. I'll tell you later. Okay. And like after the credits, he's like, how did you know? And I'm like, when you show the audience something more than once really quickly, the movie's telling you, hey, remember this. Remember this.
Yeah, it's burying it in your subconscious.
that,
Yeah.
that, that,
Um,
that kind of segues into my next question, uh, because I'm not going to answer the last one because there's so many things that I will have and will continue to borrow from this book and all the other books.
Mhm.
But when you got to the end of this book, were you at all inclined to like find the next book and start listening to it or reading it, like I was?
Um, I'll definitely read it in 2 more episodes, that's for sure. Right now, I want to re-listen to the High Crusade,
No, okay, okay,
and then so whose birthday is it going to be in July?
Justin.
Justin. Oh, yours. Okay, I'm curious what you've got planned for us.
yeah, I was thinking either the first Empire of Man book
Hold on,
or
hold on, hold on. Uh, let me. I gotta look at the calendar because in July, I'm having some dental work done, and I want to make sure that uh, it's not going to. Okay, one. So the third. of July will be the next book review.
Yeah, we were gonna do High Crusade because Tanner mentioned it, and I said we should do that.
Okay, and then
Then the birthday month one would
the
be
next one is
the
the 17th. There's actually there's
now
actually there's
we
actually
were
3 book reviews in July, just because that's how
Nice.
it
yeah
shakes out. The 3rd, the 17th, and the 31st. So on the 17th, by the 17th, we will review which one, Justin, for your birthday?
uh I was gonna give you an option of two or three books next
Okay.
review,
You
and then
may
Well,
as
go
well
ahead.
tell
you
us
guys.
now because I'm looking at one of these and it's 600 pages, and
Yeah, they're normal size contemporary novels. That's why I told you it'd be longer.
Well, can you put all 3 of them in the
The chat,
Discord,
yeah, the Discord chat. I'll
so
do that
we can like
sometime
okay,
after the
mull it
show.
over, see which
yeah.
one seems more uh,
Yeah,
universally interesting.
yeah.
I
Uh,
mean, it can not be universally interesting. I mean, it's his choice, you know.
No. I'm gonna. I have a couple of different things I wouldn't mind rereading, and I'll just let you guys pick what one.
Of course.
Okay.
that's mighty nice. And then on the
In
31st, we'll
fear
worry
of
about that 2 weeks
in
from
fear of
now.
jumping the gun, I'm already building my lists of what to offer you guys for the end of January for my birthday.
Yeah.
I
Okay.
know one of them is probably going to be a hard sell. The other one sufficiently less so.
Okay.
As long as it's easy to get, or you can
Oh,
give it
they're
to
very easy
us.
to get.
Yeah.
Very easy.
If you got an ebook or an audiobook of them or whatever,
Yeah,
that's
that's
the
definitely going to
best.
be a plus.
Yeah.
I don't mind buying a book, but if it's going to be 500-600 pages, there's a good chance I just won't be able to get to it in 2 weeks.
And if it's out of print, I will link you a digital version, so there's no need to stress there.
Yes,
Well,
that's always preferable.
that's the problem. I'm even less likely to read a digital copy than I am to read a hard copy, because then I can do 2 things at once, which is usually listen to whatever it is I'm YouTubing or whatever about at the same time I'm reading, because I can do both. Um,
You should be able to do both on your tablet. You can have YouTube
yeah,
open
but
up
it
on
drains
another
the
tab.
power. I only get when depending on what I'm doing, I might only get 2 hours of time doing that. If I'm just listening to something, then
Hmm.
I can turn the screen down and things. I can get more time out of it. And if I have to keep charging it, which can take just as long to charge the device as it does to use the device, kind of thing. And depending on what else I'm working on, like if I'm working on God Wars stuff, I can listen to a book and type with that. So,
Hmm. Yeah.
but the last question I have, which is one of the regular questions, are you still more or less inclined to refer these books out to other people who have never read them, Justin?
Definitely only if the person is okay with first person. Otherwise, like that's really killing the series for me. I like there you can do first person like intermittently in third person, and it's better that way. But just continuously by Tanner, continuously so I find really annoying. Uh,
Really, I can't imagine why. I mean, most stories I hear are people telling me their story, their experience, how they, what happened to them. In the real
yeah,
world, I don't have people telling me about somebody else's story. You know what I mean? Unless it's on YouTube and it's news or
yeah,
something like that. Um,
yeah. I don't like the style of writing.
hmm.
I find it jarring. Of course, it's not as bad as second uh, perspective.
I was about to
Yeah,
say, yeah, there's something
yeah,
worse.
yeah. There is something much worse, but second is when
If you've ever taken a cheese grater to your testicles, you
I
have a
don't know that
pretty good idea
anybody's
of what
ever
second
done that,
person narration
Tanner.
is like.
yeah,
I'm pretty sure I can safely.
Regrettably,
yeah. People have.
you'd be surprised, dude.
Okay, so first is like I'm doing this. I saw this. Third is he did that. He went there. The second is you did this. You did that.
Yeah, well, what was unless it's a choose your own adventure? Who writes like
Yeah,
that?
there are people that write that way.
Chuck Wendig.
Chuck Wendig.
Also,
I,
that
I,
one
I
of a recent novel from like 2019 that no one
Yeah,
liked.
I've never
but
ever read
is
it.
always shoved. What's that? The black woman that they just are always shoving down your face on all the book selling platforms.
Oprah.
No,
I
she
don't
didn't
know
actually
because I don't
write
really
it.
go to those places. I know she's
Uh,
always shoving books down people's throat. That's what it is.
no, it's like
No, she is.
yeah, like
There
on
we go. Anne Leckie, The Raven Tower. That one's told in second
yeah.
person,
I think it's Anne Lackey. She's the woman I'm thinking of. I think
How,
even though
is
she's
she?
white.
No, because I'm
how,
thinking of
how, do,
someone else.
how do you even do that?
Google.
Do what?
Second person. I mean,
I just told you.
no, I
It's
know.
written like
It's annoying.
you walk up to the door, you open the door, you walk through the
Oh,
door.
okay. I take that back. When I was in, when I was writing,
You approach Al. Al
okay,
says hi to you. You tell Al to shut the fuck up.
when I was writing self hypnosis tapes during the late
Did
'80s.
you just say when you were writing self hypnosis tapes?
Yes,
You think you
yeah, I
wouldn't?
did that for a while, and that was the only instance I could see that being a legitimate, other than obviously the choose your own adventure. Yes, I did that.
Yeah.
There was a short story, Hull of Mirrors, I think, which is probably on the list somewhere, that is told second person for the first chunk of it, and it kind of works, but I'm also not in love with the story, so take that how you
We
will.
will eventually get to it if it's on the list.
Yeah, it should be. Let me double check. I mean, I'd be surprised if it wasn't.
Uh,
And then, any parting thoughts or
I'm not
anything
done. I'm not
no,
left
no,
to
done.
say
no,
on?
no.
I still got. I still got.
You stepped over. We're on a far more interesting tangent.
I know.
Tell us more about these self hypnosis tapes.
We'll go back to that. We'll go back to that. It
Okay,
was a site. It
we're
was
gonna do 2 hours on it tomorrow. So
it was a site class extra credit project that eventually netted me some
no
money.
one passed you in a psych class. Okay, that did
Oh yeah,
not
absolutely.
happen.
I got nothing but A's in psychology classes. That's why I took it in
Okay,
college. Now,
find that hard to believe.
other than the first person thing, Justin, uh, the overall story and the ideas that were created here. What do you think of the whole the whole Amber concept, etc. To
Well,
as a selling point for someone else to recommend the story?
I no, I personally much prefer like a normal guy, a competent normal guy, than a demigod as a character. Uh, like there are a lot of little things that are off putting to me that stack up in this series. The overall like general family intrigue stuff is fun, and the murder mysteries and the like. Did I sleep with my cousin or whatever from the previous book, or
Yeah, he
like
did. He did.
that kind of like freaky Oedipus crap or whatever can be fun, but like the power fantasy crap and stuff like that, like Conan's the power fantasy I want to read, or maybe like a wizard or something,
it's too much.
or it's it's the it is the on crack version of a chosen one. Always, you don't like the chosen one, but you like this guy, and he's like the super chosen one.
Uh,
The person who chose him was himself.
No, the whole demigod thing. It's like
he,
above that in the hierarchy of power fantasies.
yes and no. You, the character does grow and doesn't start out. at the same place at the end of doesn't end up where he started. At the end. Well,
Well, yes,
the
but
character grows.
any properly written
Hall
story
of
has
Mirrors is
that.
on the list. Yeah.
Like that is the definition of having a character, that there is growth. It doesn't have to be big. It doesn't have to be
I meant to
massive. It
say,
doesn't
or
have to be
should have
growth
said,
shattering.
interesting growth.
Okay.
Grow
It doesn't even have to be
unexpected
that.
growth. Pardon?
It doesn't even have to be that for it to be a
Well,
story. But
for
still,
me, I thought this character was quite interesting, and I really do. And even before I met him, I liked the way he spoke. His character spoke, and his sense of humor.
his
Honestly,
diction.
reminded me
I
of
don't know. He
a
seems like
couple.
a piece of wet cardboard to me, but still,
Uh,
Well, you don't like the guy.
yeah, that too.
he reminded me of people I grew up around in their sense of humor and uh, sort of a classier uh, kind of person than I normally hang out with, or
Feel
especially
seen. I feel
especially
seen.
especially in my youth. Tanner, you gonna recommend it?
Um, sure. If you like the first two,
Well, I
absolutely.
mean,
And if you want you got a sure. And if you want a mystery in a very different sort of setting, then this is a good place to start.
Hmm.
well, you kind of got to read the first two, but if you're looking forward,
That's why I said if you like the first two, then yes, obviously
right,
read
and
this.
the same thing with the overall the world of Amber. Would
Hmm.
that be a selling point that you would use to get someone to read this, or highlight when recommending it?
As long as they didn't, as long as they didn't hate multiverses, absolutely. Like you gotta like keep in mind people's tastes when you're recommending a setting to them.
Right.
Yeah,
Um,
I'll be honest with you. Even that, for the most part, I'd say that because we don't actually spend time in the multiverses, like we go to them, there might be a little event, but it's maybe a quarter of a book at the most. It's usually just a chapter, maybe two.
Right.
Um, it doesn't give those multiverses any time to be experienced, really. So they tend to be
they are
very one.
shadows.
Well, yes, but still, they tend to be one
I don't know.
dimensional.
I think with Random Story, we got kind of a nice glimpse into that world. We definitely got a good glimpse into Avalon when Carl was
Yes,
training
but
the
those
men.
could have been full novels.
Well, that's
That's sort of the joy of the series, though, is that you are wandering through these, various dimensions and
well,
worlds. I mean,
that was
that is what it's
a
so.
huge thing was Zelazny. He didn't write massive, 600-page books. He just didn't have
Yes,
the desire to do that.
and I'm
Most of it,
okay with that.
most of his books are
I'd argue that
200 pages on average.
um,
And
I would argue that the first five Ambers are a 600-page book divvied up
No,
really
I
well.
think
yeah,
the first five books are about 1,000 pages between the
Yeah.
five, and
In
it
mine,
couldn't
it's close
couldn't
to
be. You mean
500.
10,000? There's no way the five books is 1,000. Wait, 1,000 pages? Okay, maybe,
yeah, because Hand of Oberon is one of the thicker
maybe.
ones, and it's
Okay,
well over
I'm
200.
thinking words. I keep doing that.
Yeah,
Um,
and I was watching someone who was reviewing one of his books, and they said he had a deep appreciation for our time and didn't like to waste it. Reading a
yeah,
600, 800 page book, um,
there.
it better be the greatest thing I've ever read, or I'm probably going to burn it so no one else will waste their time with it. Uh,
Uh,
I don't like, uh,
Meandering. Yes,
yeah,
there,
it's, you know,
there
Tolkien's
are
I like get away with it.
there are like, because you haven't read a lot of stuff after the 80s. There is a lot of like those, like the books I'm talking about. People are actually doing things during that time. like, and it's not a bunch of like wasted description or whatever, which a lot of authors
Mm.
during the early New Age and pulp era would do. It's just a lot of flowery description to fill up word space, which is a byproduct of having to sell stories to magazines and getting paid by the word.
Yeah,
Um, but that habit had been ingrained into the culture of the fantasy writing, and
yeah.
it took a while for it to be broken down back
If
into
it's going to be
like
that many
meaningful
pages,
writing.
I really need to be taken on a hell of a ride.
Yes,
I don't, I
and that's why I'm thinking the David Weber John Ringo collab series, Empire of Man, the first one in that series, which is 4 books, or John Ringo's Troy Rising series, the first one in that series. And then there's another one I'm just spacing on the name of it right now. And then you guys can pick through the descriptions on those. What sounds the best? I've mentioned those 2 books to you before.
Mhm.
Uh, yeah,
I think I have them on a list somewhere on my table. I'm just looking for
yeah.
them.
Well, you'll actually be able to get around to one this time. Well, in 4 weeks or whatever, 3 weeks. Maybe.
So, what book are we reading next?
High Crusade.
Already
No,
mentioned. Yeah.
Yeah. What I meant to say is, who's the author, and where are all my damn
uh,
pens?
Ole Anderson. And with that,
Paul
we'll
Anderson.
be checking him off the list.
Okay. Can you find that Tanner? The
I can do you
ebook.
one better. I've already found it. One sec.
Okay.
Is it
I think
Scrolling.
audio
maybe
or
we did that the other
Yep,
week.
the audio is. There you are. I am linking. I am adding it to you right now. Reply at Justin. Please enjoy. Bang.
cool?
Okay. Uh, oh, I gotta go to the bottom. I'm already on that. I'm already in that room. Oh yeah, and I jumped back up to where it was on the thing. Oh.
So we'll be reviewing that one on July 3rd, I believe that is. 2 weeks from now.
Looking forward to it.
Yeah.
Oh, July 4th. Is that going to
No,
affect
third.
anything or
Three.
Yeah, no.
then everyone parties? Okay.
Uh, 4th of July is a Friday, so that's going to be great for us here in the States, where we'll be blowing shit up in my front yard. Looking forward to it. It's my second favorite holiday of all the holidays out there. And yeah, so hopefully this book will be a good one. I am going to be really tempted to go and listen to The Hand of Oberon. Uh, like even tonight, I just that cliffhanger. The other 2 books wasn't so much a cliffhanger. You could literally, at the end of book 2, you could have kind of, never read another one and would have got, you know, a good story. But with this one,
Mm-hmm.
it's like I even though I know what happens, I still like I want to know again what happens. Especially, I don't know if I told you this, but I used to have the audio cassettes narrated by Zelazny that were a little bit better than what we're listening to, and I think I still have them. And yes, because audio cassettes, and I noticed that they were the abridged versions, so I stopped listening to them, and then cassette players became obsolete and whatnot, and then I actually picked up a boombox a while ago, and it actually had dual cassette player, just as an added feature, and I'm like, I wonder what those are. But then when I found these on YouTube and uh, noticed they were on disc. which means somewhere they're out there and they may actually be available again. I might just
Yeah,
have to go out and get them, add to my collection because I can definitely see listening to these on a road trip or something like that, and not being put to sleep while in the car. But I don't really trust
hmm,
car CD players much anymore either. So,
yeah,
but I enjoyed this one. I enjoyed this one a lot. I hope everybody out there listening to did as well. Although I know Raven didn't listen to it. It was only 5 hours. It was one of the easiest listens we've had in time wise. 5.5 hours, and I didn't feel. I wasn't even tempted to speed it up at all.
yeah. So at the speed you listen to this, you'd have to do the. I know the two books I mentioned already are about 17 hours in audio.
Holy shit!
That's when you think about how long it is. It's about three times longer.
Wow, dude.
Uh,
I'm telling you, man.
yeah, that's just normal literature, and I agree with you. Go back to the shorter length. Like the stories could be broken up reasonably, but still they are good contiguous, like on the seat of your pants. Um,
Here's the thing: they better be chock full of freaking action.
yeah,
Uh,
yeah, they are, especially March Up Country, the first Empire Man book. Um, the other one I mentioned is more like that's you're following the one guy as he's like doing some funny or interesting things. There is some action, but it's more like in the background because it's a good story, but still, read the descriptions when I put them up, and
will do.
uh, you guys can argue over it at the end of next book club, and we'll do that one.
Okay. How long is High Crusade?
Let me go back
Um,
over
the,
the thing.
the audiobook is even shorter than the one for Three Hearts, Three Lions. So it's like 150, 160 pages. It's a quick
Um,
read.
Really?
it's 5 hours and 10 minutes
Yep,
on audio.
Okay. Okay.
that's what it.
So, like I said, about a third of.
Yeah. It's just when it's more than 8 hours, 6 hours, that period. Uh, there's no way I get through it in one day, and I gotta time it just right because I really, when it's audio, I really want to read it or listen to it as close to the show as possible
Mhm.
without having to rush through the last 45 minutes at double speed kind of thing. Uh, it takes a lot of the fun out of it, and the comprehension rate goes down. I know, despite what I might think, I know it goes down
You shouldn't
because
have to
that's
hear.
just the way we should be enjoying these. Not it's not homework. We're not getting paid for this. We should be enjoying it, and if it starts to seem like work, then it kind of is.
Just when it comes to the longer book, break it up into 3.5 hour, 4 hour segments uh, out through the week, and
Yeah.
that should hit every day. You know, after dinner, do your or for you after in the afternoon when you're vacuuming and scrubbing the toilet or whatever.
If it's 600 pages,
So,
I'll read as much as I can, but I am making no promises to finishing that.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. Well, you got 2 weeks, so
4 weeks.
2 weeks.
I'll be ordering. Oh, well, we'll decide pretty quickly so I can order it and start a reading.
Yeah, so I'll just go with those two, and I'll put the description in the
Two
thing. You guys
weeks.
can flip your quarter on
yeah.
2 weeks. It's a Total Recall reference, Shadow.
I know. I know. I've seen that movie many, many times. I'll
Yeah,
never see it again, but I have seen it many, many times. Um,
yeah. I like it. I'll watch it again.
uh, yeah. The end sucked so hard
Yeah,
that even if I didn't hate Arnold, I would never watch it again.
yeah. The remake is closer to the actual story.
While cutting out all the stuff people like from the first movie.
No, while trying to shoehorn things from the first movie that had no business being in there in the first place, like the three titty chick.
Who's on Earth and not Mars, where it wouldn't make as much sense.
Yeah.
Unless she's
Well,
just catering to a really niche market there.
yeah. Well, she was.
Who?
I think on Mars there was a chick with three boobs.
Oh yeah.
Because of
Yeah.
the radiation and mutation
Right,
there.
right, right.
Yeah. Well, they put her into a red light district scene
Again,
in Australia
Which, saying that
because
aloud, that kind of
they
answers the
want
question.
they wanted to shove that in there for fans of the old movie when they should have just cut it and said no, we're doing the original story from Philip K. Dick, not the stupid Paul Anderson or whatever the fuck that guy's name is.
Paul Verhoeven. Don't throw Anderson into
Verhoeven.
this.
Yeah. Whatever. Verhoeven. Who
gotcha.
made a bunch of great films, but is unquestionably a hack.
Well, he can make great films or he can be a hack.
No,
And just so we're clear here, I
he's
cannot stand Starship Troopers for shit, so...
he's found a
Really
way to
love
be
that movie,
both at the same time.
and I love the book
Impossible.
too. And I don't. They're
Ta-
not the same.
Go,
I
go,
love them for different reasons.
go watch Starship Troopers, Total Recall, even RoboCop 1, great
I've
film,
watched all of those. I've
and
also watched Flesh and Blood, which is really good.
Flesh and Blood. I haven't seen that one, I think.
Um, it's probably the closest to a really good Warhammer movie we're ever gonna get.
Okay.
Like that or Lamentations of the Flame Princess. It's really good.
Okay. I'll have to check that out. But
Hmm.
I've seen like a lot of his films and they're good, but then when you like start looking into the messaging behind it or whatever, it's like you're just a hack. You are an idiot.
He's not an idiot. He's just angry. World of difference.
About what?
What do you mean?
That's the question. About what? He's angry about what? About
He's
being
annoyed with
German.
Americans not making what's it called there? Flesh and Blood a hit, so he kind of roasts them for several movies on end.
Okay.
Which, granted, I mean, I don't think
It's a
spite
cow.
is a good thing. Yet you gotta appreciate the grind.
Hmm.
Anyway,
Well,
any final thoughts, guys?
Uh,
it's a book.
it was a great book.
I won't
I
go
don't know if
that far.
it might even be my second favorite of the five, but we'll
I actually
see.
like it a lot too. Yeah.
Maybe.
It was a lot
Maybe
of
out of
fun.
the three, it's definitely in the top three. I haven't put enough thought into it yet to rank them, but uh,
The first one's really good, but it's I think he just gets better as it goes along.
mhm.
But
I like some of the key points in the second one more, and like all the more flavorful examples of the parallel realities are in that one. So for a multiverse story, that one's the one with the multiverses for fuck's sakes.
well, yeah, this one only had the randoms talking about that planet that they like to fly on. Otherwise, it was mostly at Castle Amber uh, and
Which is
into.
okay
It,
if it wasn't
it
set up
had
as
you know
though we're
it was
bouncing
it
around the
was the
place.
most of the book was taken up by the the typical murder mystery,
That's
Agatha
never
Christie,
resolved.
right? Where everybody's stuck in the room, no one's leaving until we find out who the murderer is, kind of thing.
We're not allowed to say the name of Agatha Christie's best story anymore.
Yeah, we are.
I
Just
don't
say
even
it.
know what it was. I never read anything by her. I just know she was a terrible, terrible, terrible writer.
It's not my channel, Tanner, so I won't. But if it was my channel, I would.
Did Evis learn the name? Because that's a tell reason not to say it.
It starts with an N, ends with a
Yep, I
hard
knew. I
R,
knew it was
and
that
has
one.
two G's in it. And it's
Yep.
literally her best selling book, if
I
not
can't imagine
the
Go
why.
figure,
best
huh?
selling book. What? If
What?
not the best selling book. It's like one of those things. It's like
Wow.
it's like the best selling book, period, all time.
Yeah, I agree. Or all I know about her is what was said about her in the movie Murder by Death. That she was a terrible writer, and she would bring in murder. The murderer would be someone who wasn't even introduced until like the last 2 or 3 pages of the book.
That's
That's
besides the point. She made enough money to be okay with that.
yeah.
I'm
Honestly,
just saying,
go
when you
figure.
start
Murder on the
making a
Orient
million
Express.
dollars,
Murder on the Orient Express actually doesn't do that. It's got a much
Sure,
more interesting resolution.
sure.
yeah, everyone did it.
Yes.
Well,
Oh,
don't tell him
spoilers!
that, you hosehead.
Oh, I knew that. I knew.
Spoilers!
I never.
Spoilers
Okay.
for a book that's been out for over 100 years.
Yeah, yeah. I actually knew that.
Okay, good. Fuck you, audience.
Yeah,
And with that, we're
You
going to
didn't know
say
that.
adios, happy trails.
Yes.
Enjoy your
Taco Bell.
weekend. I will see you on this guy's show tomorrow morning, tomorrow afternoon, depending on
3 o'clock my time,
noon
which
o'clock my
is
time.
my time.
Take care,
And
everybody.
I will be putting
Oh,
out another omnibus review tomorrow morning, tomorrow evening, something like that. Uh, just because I feel like it. So there.
yeah,
Uh,
it's good policy. That's how YouTube works. I did because I feel like
yep,
it.
yep.
Lurder.
So I will see you guys later. Have a great evening.
Bye, everybody.